Hi, my name's Mary Alice Campbell. I'm doing some research into one-to-one learning initiatives in schools in Australia. What I'm trying to do is get a picture of right across Australia, across all the schools, of what's actually happening with one-to-one. It's not a technology survey, it's a survey about the implementation of the initiative and the initiative as a whole. So, what my study is doing is looking at who has one-to-one in Australia, where those schools are, what's the approach they've used to implement the program. So, the adoption of mobile devices, digital devices in schools is rapidly progressing, but the best practices for integrating them into the schools are just emerging. If you have a look at the timeline for the implementation of one-to-one in Australian schools, you'll see that we pioneered this whole concept over 20 years ago. There was an uptake of similar initiatives in schools across Australia, but that stayed relatively low. We had the digital education revolution, and that's been a catalyst for a cluster of uptake of one-to-one in schools. What I'm interested in doing is creating a picture of where those schools are and what's the approach they've taken to provide transitional support for the teaching staff, for the parents, for the students, how it's been integrated into the school processes, and what the focus of the professional development has been. My goal is to have every single school in Australia that is doing one-to-one or is considering implementing one-to-one. My goal is to have them come and do this survey. I'd like to see at least half the staff doing the survey. Not realistic goal. I've been told I'd be lucky if I get 10%, but 10% would be better than nothing. This picture will be right across government schools, independent schools, Catholic schools. Okay, so how do you do it? You go to the website. So I've got a website here, Low Tech Navigation. It's just a WordPress blog. Here you'll find information about the research, and the key component is this National School Survey. There's also a link to an information sheet and a link to start the survey. Now, the sorts of information that it will ask you about, well, if you were to go to the frequently asked questions, you'll find that sort of information. For example, what I haven't actually explained yet, how would you define one-to-one learning program? A one-to-one computer initiative can be defined as providing individual students with a computer, laptop, tablet, or some other computing device for school and homework use. But in this study, the initiative may refer to a specific type of device as prescribed by the school, or it might include a variety of devices. The devices might be student-issued or they might be school-owned. And generally, the devices will be given to individual students 24/7, 365 use during the program. What is the device itself? Well, basically, it's some sort of computing device that's provided to a student for individual use. What sort of questions will you be asked? Well, basically, the survey asks for a school profile, so the location, size, type of school, and your particular role at that school. A technical profile, the devices, the implementation approach, and the status of that implementation. And a transitional profile, so the challenges, the support mechanisms, the guidelines and policies, and how you're measuring the success of that initiative. You will not be identified in the survey. Your school will not be identified in the survey. The school will have a numeric identifier. I won't be actually seeing the names of the school during the analysis. But what I can do, and what's in it for you, is I will pull a list of all the schools that did contribute, and I'll be giving them the findings. So that brings me what's in it for me. Nothing. Peace of mind is what's in it for me. I'm a business intelligence specialist and trained strategist, and what that means is day in, day out, I implement digital solutions for knowledge workers, people who work with information, who consume it, they create it, they report on it, they analyse on it, and I'm doing this across all industries. That's what business intelligence is about. But I have a very strong passion about making sure it's done, set up properly in the first place, and that it's viable for the long term, and the people using or involved in the solution are happy in using it and comfortable and gaining insights and innovations themselves, and they're actually being supported in their daily processes, not having their processes changed simply because technology's been introduced. So please evangelise, spread the word, see if you can get every school to consider putting the information into this survey. The picture of what's happening with one-to-one in Australia will then be sent out to all the schools that participated, and it's going to become public information. Don't forget to go to the website lowtechnav.wordpress.com, and that will take you into the blog site, and it's all about understanding where you are before you change direction. And then click on the link for research one-to-one learning in Australian schools. Thanks.